welcome back everybody. In today's episode, we're going to do the best beginner venomous snake. But before we get to that best beginner venomous snake, which is a brand new venomous snake in my collection, we're going to upgrade the Tzabcan into a huge 5-foot enclosure. We're going to clean the big rattlesnake, the Western Diamondback's enclosure. We're going to pull out the king cobra, and we'll end this video with the best beginner venomous snake. Let's jump right into it. Hey guys, we're redoing the entire snake room. We just put up our hex lights. We just put up our green wall. We ripped down all the artwork because we're getting ready to do more green, more eucalyptus, picture walls, all kinds of stuff. But check out how the snake room is looking so far. I think it's looking pretty good. We have that noisy AC unit. We're gonna change that for a mini split. That way it's super quiet and super cool in here. And we're gonna upgrade to these black reptile habitat enclosures. So this is a 5-foot by 2-foot by 2-foot. So we're gonna stack 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna do probably 3 or 4 8-foot enclosures. Then we're gonna do some 4-footers, and then we're gonna do some 3-footers, and then we're gonna do some box style enclosures down here. So this is gonna be a giant wall full of tanks. This is my Tzabcan rattlesnake, pushing probably 6 feet long. Super long, super fast snake. Gotta be extremely careful with these guys. This is the Yucatan neotropical rattlesnake. This is about as big as they get. He'll get a tad bit bigger. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna upgrade him into his new enclosure. So a lot of you guys have been complaining about the racks, even though the racks aren't bad for snakes. Bigger cages just look better. So we're gonna transition. We're gonna move everything into giant, beautiful enclosures. The faster, more jerkier you are with the snakes, the faster, more jerkier they are with you. So especially with a big rattlesnake like this, who doesn't like her tail being touched, you have to move super, super slow. Cage she was just in was up high, and man, is it a pain to get this snake out of the high cage. So we're gonna put her on the floor since she's so heavy bodied. We don't wanna be taking her out of a tall, large cage and her fall on the floor. So she's gonna be going in this 5-foot by 2-foot by 2-foot cage. And then eventually, when he gets a little bit bigger, we'll upgrade him into an 8-footer. But look at that. The Tzabcan rattlesnake. Seriously, the coolest rattlesnake, if not the coolest venomous snake I have. So we're gonna put her in here. We just built this cage. We're gonna go ahead and wash her water bowl, throw that in there. Got our nice, big, beautiful hide. Give it a little tap, tap. And these new cages are awesome. I mean, they slide beautifully. They're large, they're cheap. So if you guys are ever interested in getting an awesome cage, go to dubia.com. Grab some reptile habitats, you will not regret it. There she is in her big, beautiful enclosure. I mean, this enclosure is big enough. Look at that. And then we have these little locks. So I don't exhibit to the public, so technically I don't need locks, but this little guy right here slides right in. And that is how you lock these cages. Snakes don't have hands. They're not opening that. So that is more than enough. And then we'll add some LED lighting on top. So that right there is the Yucatan neotropical rattlesnake. Our leucistic monocled cobra male just had a huge shed. We're just gonna go ahead and change your water, change your bedding. Woo, look at that snake. I love how he hooks up so well. And I think we're gonna name this guy Yayo. Beautiful cobra. Actually not the worst cobra either. I mean, my pastel monocled cobra was way more aggressive than this. So this is not a bad snake. What we'll do, we'll open a bin down here for her to go into. But this right here is the monocled cobra. Cousin to this cobra is the Indian cobra, the spectacled cobra. And typically they have a big O on the back of their hood. This is a leucistic, so you're not gonna see that O. It's too faded to really see. And then she's got those solid black eyes that lets us know she is a leucistic. So we're gonna take her, pop her in here. Think about a lapids, they're just super wiry. If you're gonna handle lapids, you better be ready to move because they're just so fast. Close that, clean her cage, and then we'll move on to that Western Diamondback, King Cobra, then I'm gonna show you guys that awesome new venomous snake. All right guys, let's pull out this big Western. You know she doesn't like staying on the hook, so we're gonna use this double hook on her. Now I don't know if I'm gonna keep this Western or not, because man, she just rattles all the time. I was thinking maybe I get an albino Eastern Diamondback and kind of upgrade. So instead of Western, get a albino Eastern, raise it up, because you could just see more of a pattern on the Easterns than these Westerns. So I'll show you right now. Well, this is more of a washed out one, but you can't really see her pattern. Although she is a huge snake, which I do like, so I don't know. I might keep her. What's cooler, an albino Eastern Diamondback or an albino Western Diamondback? Everyone knows this snake is super aggressive, loves to strike, is giant, so She's a really cool addition to this venomous snake collection. So I don't know, should we keep the Western? Should we get rid of her and get an albino Eastern? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, before we get to the best beginner venomous snake, we're gonna feed a couple of the large snakes. So we're gonna feed the king cobra. We're gonna see if the Tzabcan will eat. Probably not, because we just put her in a new enclosure, but hey, it's worth a shot. If she does, we'll give her a couple of these smaller rats. Oh, and she slammed it. That is a comfortable snake. For her to just slam a rat after being moved to a new enclosure, pretty awesome. Feed the Gaboon Viper. You guys know how fast he is. Let's see if we can get him to do a pretty far strike. Now, this is a pretty small, you might think this is a pretty small rat for a Gaboon Viper this size, but Gaboon Vipers don't eat huge meals. So a lot of people actually kill Gaboon Vipers from overfeeding them. So this guy will give them a medium rat or a small rat once a week or medium every 2 weeks. They don't need too much food. Let's see if you can. Ooh. Lightning fast. I mean, even when I take a video of this guy and put it in slow motion, it's still fast. I always have people commenting on YouTube like, that's not a Gaboon Viper, that's a Rhino Viper, that's a Rhino Viper. No, it's not. This is just a massive Gaboon Viper that's wild caught. And I estimate him being anywhere from probably 10 to 15 years old. Now, a lot of people who have him in captivity, they haven't had the snake for 10, 15 years, and that's why those horns aren't as big as his. But this guy, his scientific name is Bitis rhinoceros. Now, the scientific name, the last part is rhinoceros because they have huge horns. The other species of Gaboon Viper, Bitis gabonica, the last part of their Latin name is not rhinoceros because the horns don't get as big. But this species has super big horns. And those horns are actually made out of keratin, the same thing your fingernails are made out of. Look at those fangs, man. These guys have 2 to 3 inch long fangs. They have the longest fangs out of any venomous snake in the world. You can see he's actually got, plus those fangs, he's got 2 rows of teeth on the top and 2 rows of teeth on the bottom. I mean, this snake probably has somewhere past 100 teeth inside his mouth. And if you look right at the bottom, you can actually see his trachea opening. So when he's swallowing that rat, you see it open, see it open? So this guy, that's how they breathe when they swallow a rat. Now, even though I've got almost 3 foot long tongs, I gotta be careful, because if he misses the rat, he could bite me right in my thumb. Look at that. Now, a lot of venomous snakes, they'll strike and they'll let go. Now, that's okay, because in the wild, a lot of animals, a lot of venomous snakes aren't gonna bite and hold on like a bushmaster. Most rattlesnakes are gonna bite, let go, let the animal die, then they'll come back for a meal later. Now let's feed the leucistic monocled cobra. Usually when monocled cobras get a scent of rat, they go absolutely insane. And you're gonna see, once she gets that, see how crazy she starts to get? She's just going psycho. Once they smell the rat, look at her biting the side of the bin. Perfect. You can get a good shot of those big black eyes. You gotta be careful because she'll let go of that rat and bite you in a split of a second. The next thing we're gonna feed that does need to eat a lot is the king cobra. So this is Shatid. This is my king cobra that used to belong to Tyler Nolan. She's growing a lot. She's in a 6 foot by 3 foot enclosure, but we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna upgrade her to an 8 foot enclosure, one of our new reptile habitats, and I think she's gonna love it. Look at that king cobra. Put her on top of the cage. She doesn't want to take a bite of the tongs, but look at that. Probably over 10 feet long now. All right, guys. Now, since we're cleaning cages, there's a little bit of poop in the Mangshan's enclosure, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna pull him out, put him in the holding, and just give him a quick clean. Now, this snake, unfortunately, he's not gonna eat today because he only eats live. Just like the Bushmaster, these guys have heat pits, so they're relying on heat to get their prey. Frozen thaw really just doesn't cut it for this Mangshan Viper. He wants live food. Hopefully in the future, we can get him on some quail or we can get him on frozen thaw that's heated up, but right now he's only eating live, which, I mean, it's not the biggest deal, but it's just not convenient for me when every snake eats frozen thawed and one wants to eat live. Super gentle with these guys because they like to wrap their tails around the branches and you don't really just want to yank their tails off. You gotta wait for their tail to come off on their own, but this right here is my favorite, most favorite venomous snake species. the Mangshan viper, and wow, look at those colors popping with that brand new light. And a fun fact about Mangshan vipers is the males have nicer colors than the females. So the females will get larger, but the males have way nicer greens on them. If you look at the tip of his tail, he's got a bright blue tail, and that's used for coddling. So in the wild, when they're sitting up in the trees, they'll do coddling, which is shaking the tail, mimicking a little lure or a worm. When an animal comes to grab the tip of the tail, that's when the snake will turn around and bite. These guys are typically bird eaters. So when you feed them rats, you don't want to feed them too big of a rat. Now we still need a name for this Mangshan viper. So if anyone has a super cool name that would be fitting for this Mangshan viper, go ahead, comment down below. If you're lucky, we'll name this snake after a name one of you guys choose. All right, guys, this right here is my newest venomous snake, and this is also the best beginner venomous snake. Now this right here is a Cape coral cobra. Now this is the certain locality or species that has really nice colors. And I got this from my buddy Ryan Gratney. He hooked it up. Let's see if we can find her. So they're kind of like the coral snakes of the cobra family. That's why she's not hiding in her hide. She's actually hiding in the substrate. So in the wild, these guys like to hide under logs and substrate, and they're eating really, really small prey items. So this snake is not a big venomous snake. If you find them in the wild, they're going to be about twice this size as an adult. Oh, there she is. Beautiful European captive born and bred. Let's see if we can get her out. Oh, there's a tail. Man, this snake is so cool. I've always wanted one of these in my collection. These are a great, great beginner venomous snake because they're not really too laid back, so they're going to move a lot, so it's going to get you used to handling snakes. They are a relatively cheap venomous snake, so they're easy to get into. They're a beautiful venomous snake. So as you can see, she's a fast venomous snake. So when it comes to good beginner venomous snakes, this snake is going to get you used to other species, which is what you want. You don't want a snake that is too laid back that's going to make you be too complacent. So this snake is going to keep you on your toes. They're very small, so if you get bit, the venom yield isn't going to be huge. So the chances of you dying is very slim, although you could die under certain circumstances or if you have an allergic reaction. And when they feel threatened, they'll actually lower their body and they'll spread out their neck hood. So that's basically to warn predators, hey, I'm a venomous snake, I mean business. And if you can see her colors, typically when snakes have super bright colors like this, animals know that they're nothing to mess with. There's something venomous. That's why a lot of non-venomous snakes will develop bright colors like this to warn predators that they're venomous, although they're not. But these guys are just a super awesome venomous snake. Like I said, small, so they're a good beginner venomous snake. You don't need a large enclosure for these snakes right here. You can really keep this guy probably in an 18 by 18 its entire life. And they are beautiful. I mean, how cool is that venomous snake? It's not the biggest, but it is one of the coolest venomous snakes. If you look at his tail, it's a super short and stubby tail. They don't have a super long tail, so they have a pretty stout look to them. Even though they're kind of a slender snake, they have a super stout looking tail. He has black bands on either side of his eye, and it actually goes across his head like a little mask. Now this isn't the easiest snake to handle. It's not the best handling snake, but it is a good beginner venomous snake.